Wilkinson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Lukenen certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.
It's that time of the year again when we look back over what has been an absolutely terrific Sidecar Motocross World Championship season, and we kicked off in Spain. It's difficult to remember just how warm it was early last year, but we're going to make you feel nice and warm and comfortable as we start in Talavera de la Reina. What a place and what a track and what a season lay ahead of us. They're going to be short, sharp races. We're going to be looking mainly at race 2 at each of the rounds. Spain then, under a glorious sky. Who would kick the season off in style? Well, the red plate of Bax was deep in the middle of the action, having had a big qualifying crash, so he was struggling a bit off the gate, but Marvin van Lukenen and Nicolas Mousset hit the front from Koen Hermans in Talavera. Tim Prumer, Jarno Stegmans were to set the standard for what was to be an absolutely brilliant season for them out of the gate, almost every single round. Jason van Dalen, Kostas Beletskas were starting strongly in the early stages. Etienne Bax, André Chermak, a bit circumspect in race 1. Well, you would be after that big qualifying crash. But at the front, van Lukenen, Mousset, really on a charge and going so strongly. What a season they were to have. But Spain set the standard. After Spain, they were to walk away with a red plate, never to surrender it for the entire year. Just watch the style of this pair. They were impeccable. Coming into the season, of course, carrying number 2, having finished runners-up in 2022. But it was victory. Victory then for Marvin van Lukenen and Nicolas Mousset in race 2, Portugal. Koen Hermans, Ben van der Bogart chasing them home, and it was Britain's Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard adding to their second place in the opening race, and they were going to be on the podium. What a start to their season. Good start for Gert van Verven and Robert de Veener. They were on the podium by virtue of third place in the opening race.
I feel amazing. It's my first podium ever. So, and to achieve it with Gert, it's the best feeling ever. We couldn't think of it, that it would happen. So yeah, we done a great job this winter. We trained a lot, physical, on the bike. And yeah, we gave it all today. It's a tough track, but you train for it all winter. So we try to make the best of it, but the last few minutes are tough. But that's when you need to show your mentality to still drive at your best.
Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard, runners-up in the opener. What a result.
Unreal, yeah, can't believe it. I knew after yesterday, I thought, we could be up here. And yeah, I was just hoping we had 2 good starts. It was so important on this track. But yeah, we got there in the end, and it's the first time for me and Brett for 2nd overall. So really happy to be lying 2nd in the world now. One of my greatest days, this is for sure. It was, yeah, so good. We hadn't raced all year yet. It was the first race, so, you're unsure how you're going to get on, but that second race was hot, hopefully. Just trying to get top 5 every race and just, end up with a good number at the end of the year.
Moving on then, still in the sunshine to Torres Novas, Alquiadão circuit in Portugal. More great weather, more great racing ahead of us, that is for sure. The scene was magnificent. Everybody was in good form. The season was set. Race 2 again then in Alquiadão. Let's have a look. Van Lukenen already having lifted a maximum in the opener. It was a great start by Tim Prumer again, but Van Lukenen and Hermans neck and neck round the first turn. Red plate of Van Lukenen in front. Justin Kerben went with them as well. The Van Lukenen and Nicolas Mousset never putting a foot wrong in these early stages of the 2023 season. There were some good showings by Jason van Dalen, Tim Prumer, Justin Kerben was showing what he could do. Etienne Bax was riding carefully, still sporting the Tony Fork system that he used and which basically course, his downfall, not the forks themselves, but he had a broken headstock bolt, which caused a massive crash in Spain, obviously slowing him down. But there, you can see that new suspension setup working well, every confidence still with it. Bax and Cermak with work to do, but having had their confidence dented. Wilkinson and Millard were going strongly. What a season start they were having in 2023. The terrain here, bright red, a good crowd. It's a very popular motocross track in Alquidal, and the Portuguese hosts have been magnificent. But arguably having one of the best starts of a season, Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard were on a mission here. Nothing like, though, as quick as the number 2 crew of Van Lucena and Musset, now sporting the red plate, which they were never to relinquish throughout the season. What an incredible year they were to have. Just watch the style of this pair and the track here, and we will be visiting it again in 2024 for the season opener. I can't wait. Van Lucena from Koen Hermans. Wilkinson and Millard bring it home for another overall result. But Hermans van der Burgart runners-up overall.
Not the best start, but we came back, and today everything was better. Marvin was the fastest, but yeah, we improved ourselves, and we are very happy with the 2x second moto.
Victory then for this pair, unbeaten in 4 races. Terrific.
Yeah, for sure, really good. I'm so happy with this weekend, and yeah, thanks a lot to our team, to all the hard work, also to our sponsors, supporters at home here. But for sure, it was my son's birthday, so yeah, the most beautiful present I can give him. So I'm really happy.
Maximum. You can't get better than that, can you? For the first 2 races. Wilkinson, what a start to the season for him and Millard. Hermans, but for reliability problems, would be up there in a better position. Bax then defending, still in 4th and very much in touch. Some of the younger names yet to show, but trust me, they would. Dan Thoden and Ryan Humphrey, another British crew, well in the mix as well. Good start for the Brits. Moving on then to the Netherlands, Hera, the deep sound of Hera. Again, we're going to be focusing on race 2 because simply not enough time in this show to get all the races in. But we want to give you a flavour of the area, the atmosphere and the action. You could call the Netherlands the spiritual home of sidecar motocross, maybe. Although some countries would argue with that, but certainly some good tracks. It was a full house and 2 rows in the sound of Hera as they raced towards the first turn. Who would get a good start? Well, it looked like that was Koen Hermans there getting an absolute flyer, but a big mix-up further back took out an awful lot of the crews. Some of the local teams were in here as well, making it a very, very busy grid. Daniel Willemsen riding with Ivar van der Wiel. And the Germans chasing. Justin Kerben going strongly here. He loves the sand and puts in a good show. But Hera was indeed well supported. Good crowd. Between the trees, this track was demanding, it was tough. Van Lucena and Nicolas Musset with the red plate. Tom van der Lagerbach, Han van Haal. So many local crews here, after all. We've said so many times that the Dutch ride well in the sand. Bax and Cermak then, having recovered their composure, were up to a great ride here. And they were charging in 2nd place in this race behind this pair, Hermans, Ben van der Burgart, who, well, their prowess in the sand is undisputed. They were having a magnificent weekend and would finish top of the pile in Hera. Meanwhile, further down the order, the chasing going on all the way in these 30-minute plus 2-lap races. Etienne Bax, Andre Cermak, having ditched the telefork system, now reverting to the conventional leading link WSP design. Also had a big crash in the Dutch Championship, which knocked their confidence and knocked Etienne Bax out. The red plate then. Van Lukena and Nicolas Musset in a safe third position here. All they've got to do is bring it home to protect that massive lead they had coming into it. And what a successful weekend it was for Koen Hermans. Ian Ben van der Bogart, victory here, overall victory, and a great result, putting their challenge back on track. Hermans Ben van der Bogart then, victory in the sand of Hera, with Etienne Bax and André Chermak recovering to second place overall. Well, there's so much more I'd like to say about Koen Hermans and Ben van der Bogart's ride in Hera, but why don't we let them do the talking? They were superb.
Koen, an amazing day, a great crowd, a great track, and what a performance from you and Ben.
Yeah, it was really good today. We have some good races today. The first heat we had a bad start, but we fight from place 16 to 1, so and still a big gap, so that's really good feeling for the second race. And yeah, the second race we took a third place with the start, and yeah, I think in lap 4 or 5 we went to 1, and we find some good lines, and yeah, it was a good race.
And your championship position now, you've leapfrogged right up the table.
Yeah, now we are second in the championship. Finally, it's also better for the groups, because the A was always really hard group, so that's also better now.
Well, many congratulations. Look forward to the next one. Are you thinking ahead for France? Maybe victory there?
It's for sure possible. We do our best, and we will see there.
Well, Van Lukena is still on top, and Hermans right into second place there ahead of Etienne Bax, who's gone well. Brett Wilkins and Joe Millard still there, 32 points ahead of Gert van Verven, Robert de Vena, Kerben, Sanders, the rest of these guys. Tim Prumer in the top 10, he'll be pleased, along with the Lille Bardis boys, Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey. The British crew still going strongly. Brou in France, a track we all know well, those of us who've been around the scene for a long time. What a great place. The weather was kind again. We were expecting a huge crowd in Brou, and we were not disappointed. I call the Netherlands the spiritual home of motocross, well, I can tell you, France runs it close. Some good teams here as well. Race 2 again. Who's going to get the whole shot here on this very famous start-finish straight? About the only part of the track which is left untouched. They've completely revamped the track, going across the hill rather than up and down. Etienne Bax then, great off the line that time. A bit of a tangle into this tight turn, but Etienne Bax and André Chermak made no mistake at the start in race 2, and they were to carry that momentum all the way through as some of the other teams extricated themselves from that schmozzle on turn 1. Massive crowd at Brou, and Brett Wilkins and Joe Millard did themselves proud, I have to tell you. They have had a fantastic season. Third in the opening race. Hermans Ben van der Bogart struggling just a little bit this time, playing catch-up, so there was work to do for them. Prumer in there, and all sorts of dramas further down the field. Bax, though, under pressure now from Van Lukena. Nicolas Musset on home ground, of course. Huge support here for the French passenger. Himself a world champion on 2 occasions. Van Lukena, having muscled his way past Etienne Bax, was looking after that championship lead in style. Look at the crowd in the background. Great weather here, fantastic racing. The air horns going, the flags being waved. Kilian Prunier, he and Evon, they're the number 94 crew, very much on home soil and giving a good account of themselves. But relegated there by Koen Hermans and Ben van der Bogart, who were to go on and finish 3rd overall in this race. Van Lukena doing everything he needed to do to protect that championship lead. Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard having another great ride. What a season theirs was turning out to be in 2023. Great racing, hard-packed tracks of France, always a favourite with most of these teams. Glad that the sand of Hera is behind them, and now they can get down to racing on a level playing field. Can I put it that way? Leilbardes twins gaining in strength and confidence as the season unfolded. Two pairs of brothers there, the Prunier boys and the Leilbardes twins, side by side and fighting it out. These are teams of the future, and we need that in this sport, as we all know. The young German there, Tim Pruma, with Jarno Stegmans alongside, but that relationship was not to survive the season due to an injury to Jarno Stegmans. Justin Kerb and Dion Rietman were coming good and holding a good championship position in the early stages. And look at Nicolas Mousset receiving the plaudits and the adoration of the partisan crowd in Bru, and why would he not be? They were on an absolute mission. Etienne Bax and André Chermak, though, riding fast, riding strongly, defending their championship at this point, but the checkered flag it was for Van Lukene and Nicolas Mousset. Another overall victory for them. Race 2 victory giving them that, but Bax and Chermak equally pleased with their efforts in France after a torrid start to the season. Wilkinson Millard, the left-handed chairs working well at Bru, and as we all know, it's been a real favourite with the British teams over the years. Hermans van den Bogart did enough to get themselves third overall. Bax utterly delighted though. One result for him, he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm from one side I'm happy because we made the progress again, and this is what we need. We win the qualifying heat yesterday and we win the first moto, so actually this was the first moto win this year, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, of course, you know, nothing counts, only a double victory, and so yeah, it is. I'm happy with a little touch, you know.
Did you make any mistakes at all in race 2? Because I thought once you got out there in the whole shot, that would be it, but it was not to be.
Yeah, well, you know, we took a whole shot, and then you're the first one, so you don't see the lines, you know. So as soon as Marvin overtook us, he had a better line in that part, and he overtook us, so we can see his lines and improve on our lines. So yeah, he did not get away from us, and it was excitement until the last moment, I think. Yeah.
Langa in Estonia was next up, near the beautiful town of Tartu in this lovely Baltic country. It's a fantastic part of Europe. Baltic countries quite strong in the sport of sidecar motocross. We've seen world champions from Latvia and almost last year from Estonia. But what a track, what a complex. Second race featured again for you. Let's see what they could do this time. Koen Hermans, Ben van den Bogart have been going well here. Van Lukene, of course, championship leader, has that title to defend, so he made a good job of that by getting a great start behind Koen Hermans. Jason Van Dalen, Kostas Baletskas were strong as well, as they have been for the early part of the season. Sadly, though, Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard were out of it, and that was to prove catastrophic for them in the Estonian weekend. Such a shame for the British crew who've been going so strongly. Gert van Verven as well, riding high, wide and handsome in Estonia. A great track, combination of big jumps, some deep sand, tight turns, but a very complex piece of circuit for sure. The crowds loved it, certainly the teams loved it. Etienne Bax was on good form here. What could he do to protect his good position in the championship, albeit a good few points behind Van Lukene? Van Verven having one of the strongest seasons the big Dutchman has enjoyed, and has been a real thorn in the side of some of the top teams throughout the 2023 season. The left-handed chair of the Swiss crew, Marco Heinze, Rudy Betschart. Strong position in the championship for them as well, and that was to get better and better and better as the year unfolded. Tim Pruma and Jarno Stegmans very much in the mix with Davy Sanders, and then they got it wrong. Stegmans was thrown out heavily. Pruma almost crashed, but the passenger took a big knock, and that young Belgian, that did absolutely nothing for his dodgy knee. It was a big crash though. but he jumped back in, crawled in. This is the grittiness of Sidecar Passengers. Come on, Tim, let's go. Amazing, amazing stuff. But Koen Hermans flying high here, going really well, on his way to victory in race 2 and overall victory on the event here in Estonia. Marvin van Lukene, a very sensible ride to second place in Langa, doing everything he had to do to protect that red plate. Justin Kerben, Dion Rietman, strong finish for them in the overall as well. And they were coming much better as the season unfolded. Etienne Bax, André Cermak, solid points. And their chase was still very much on to defend their championship. Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart wrapping up victory in race 2 and overall victory in Estonia in front of a very supportive crowd. They love their Sidecar Motocross here. Good result for them. Their challenge is back on track. The Albardis boys, they've already put their names on the map. Justin Kerben, Dion Rietman, thrilled with their performance as well. Etienne Bax, André Cermak, damage limitation, but okay, not too shabby.
It's finally on the podium after so much time, so much bad luck, so much everything. Finally it pays off, it's just amazing.
You were riding hard all weekend. It was always a distinct possibility. You were looking good. Did you find any difficult areas on the track?
Yeah, for sure we felt good on the track all weekend actually. And the second heat, the track got really gnarly. But yeah, we knew we were on the way to the podium, so we just kept it on the wheels and bring it on.
Well, then a short, relatively short trip along to Poland, the north of Poland, Gdansk. A big maritime centre, of course, a beautiful city as well. And we took a bit of time to have a look round and enjoy Poland. The north of Poland is magnificent. The people are wonderful. The racetrack, even better. Poland then, on this track, which is basically on a reclaimed rubbish tip. There's been some recycling and some landfill going on here, but what a circuit it gave us. A great start by Tim Prumer as they slotted into second place, now third. Nonetheless, a great start by the young German. Koen Hermans, Ben van den Bogart, moving through so swiftly on the inside because they had already had a good result in race 1 and they were on for a good overall position here if they could keep it going. Brad Wilkinson, Joe Millard sporting different livery, fighting with Jason Van Dalen. Wilkinson and Millard a bit of catching up to do due to that DNF. Such a shame for them. Nevertheless though, strong season and going very well. Van Dalen too has really been strong in the early stages of every race. Van Lukene trailing Bax at this moment in time. Etienne Bax in a strong fighting place and looking very good here. Is he on for the race win? Well, Van Lukene is now fighting to try and claim that, but Bax and Cermak very strong, having regained their composure, got their old mojo back and are looking to close the gap on the championship leaders. Going to be no easy task, I tell you. The Lille Bardis boys in front of lots and lots of partisan Latvian crowds. Air horns, flags all being waved here in Poland, not too far away of course, in the north of Poland along to the Baltics. A relatively short journey as we said at the outset. Lille Bardis twins on for some big things in the future. I'm not going to say any more, but 17 years of age, come on, they're going to be good. They are good. Fighting hard now with Brett and Joe. And the British crew not going to give second best unless they absolutely have to. Oh dear, did he stall it there? Marvin van Lukene stalled it, had to bump start it. And Hermans now putting him under some pressure. So Van Lukene here in Gdansk is in second place in race 2. Blue flag's being waved. Hermans is really closing him down. Hermans, Ben van den Bogart. This the battle at the sharp end. Etienne Bax, André Cermak already out in front. Stefan Weyers, Lert van der Putten. And throw on the inside, Hermans. Just as easy as you like. He's so good on those right-handers. Drops in the rut, gets the power down, and he's away. Want to bring it home though, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. Race leaders, Bax and Cermak, really on a mission here. And they have got their championship protection challenge back on track. Still van Lukner though with a very healthy championship lead, but Bax has done what he needed to do here in Poland. Andre Cermak looking really strong. Van Lukner and Hermans rounding out the overall podium. .276 plays 240, 36 points. Hermans trails Etienne Bax by emerging from Poland. Brett Wilkinson's still there in 4th. They're very much in touch ahead of Gerben, Sanders, Brummer, Van Verben, Leelbardis boys and Heinz are rounding out the top 10. Jason Van Dalen is still there or thereabouts, but his season was to drop away. Dan Foden's still in the top 20, but they've had problems elsewhere with injury. The second half of the 2023 WSC World Sidecarcross Championship season took us to Lommel in Belgium, one of the few surviving tracks in Belgium. Of course, once a renowned centre of sidecar motocross, now the tracks are few and far between. But the one at Lommel, just outside the town, is in an industrial complex and it has everything. The track itself is superb, the infrastructure almost second to none, and it's a great place to be. We're featuring race 2 again. We're into the last 5 seconds. The gate drops on this infamously sandy track. It looks as flat as a billiard table at the start, doesn't it? You just wait until they come round after a few laps. Again, Tim Brummer absolutely flying. Tim Brummer again gets the gate with that big KTM thumping out. With him goes Marco Heinzer, 2 left-handed chairs. Then it was Etienne Bax. Etienne Bax in there as well. This is home ground. It's about 8 kilometres from the house of Etienne Bax, the defending champion. So a big crowd here, a lot of supporters, a lot to prove, and very adverse conditions in this deep sand. Koen Hermans, a renowned sand specialist, struggling a little bit to get to grips with the guys up the front. Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard had a good day in Lommel. Upended though, Jason Van Dalen and Kostas Beletskas were in the deep stuff, upside down in the deep rut. That's what happens when you get it sideways and crossed up and you try and do 2 ruts at the same time. Doesn't work. Brummer, Jarno Stegmans and Hermans and Wilkinson, Millard, the 3 of them ploughing their way through, tossing and weaving and bobbing, and Hermans so fast on that outside line. Tim Brummer then in the same wheel tracks behind him, Brett Wilkinson, and you don't need to follow, you can't follow, that's what happens. Brummer over the deep stuff, stuck in the berm, and Wilkinson made the most of that, just managed to get himself by and on the back of Koen Hermans. The second half of this season review, a look back, a summary, a recap, call it what you like, but things were really hotting up at the front and things were hotting up here in Lommel. Brett Wilkinson and Koen Hermans were really locked in a tussle. Wilkinson, left-hand chair on that outside line, has done a lot of training in the sand, came here early season, knows how to ride this stuff. One of the few British teams who can really go well in the deep stuff. But he and Koen Hermans, and Van der Bogart, of course, alongside Koen Hermans, riding the number 3. Having a mixed season, they'd had reliability problems, a couple of DNFs, that dropped them back, and that misery would continue throughout 2023. But still, this battle on. Marvin van Lukena and Nicolas Musset ahead of these 2 crews in Lommel. The racing was fantastic, the crowds were enjoying it, it was very hot in Belgium. Wilkinson and Millard had a very fast line down the right-hand side coming in to the start-finish area. That's where they passed Hermans, and that is where they are going to try and nail Marvin van Leeuwen. Whether that will happen or not remains to be seen, but certainly Wilkinson is quick, and he's by. Done it again. There you go. That same passing place, that favourite manoeuvre. And Wilkinson now up to second place behind Etienne Bax. And now the battle's on between Hermans and van Leeuwen. Hermans is now going for it. Race leader, Bax and Andre Cermak. Brilliant stuff in the deep sand. They know they're home and dry now. Fist in the air from the passenger. And Etienne Bax and Andre Cermak victorious in both races in Lommel. Overall win for them, of course. Wilkinson beating Hermans home, he having got the better of Marvin van Leeuwen in race 2. A great ride by Wilkinson, second place in race 2 and second place overall for Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. Delight evident. That's the race result. Hermans ahead of van Leeuwen. Koen Hermans and Ben van der Burgart coming out in third place, but off the overall podium. Pipped to the post by Justin Koop. Red plate of Marvin van Leeuwen and Nicolas Mousset. Well, they did what they needed to do. They're keeping it alive, but what a ride by Justin Koop and Dion Rietman.
The track was second motor pretty gnarly. Had some problems with the suspension, but yeah, great. Be back on the box again, so very happy.
Yeah, you've been aiming for a podium all season. Here you are again.
Yes, 2 times in sand, so I hope more sand tracks will come this season.
A brilliant ride by Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. Fantastic in the sand.
Brett, terrific result, and you were bruised a little bit. You were hurting, but boy, can you fight.
I was hurting so bad the last 5 minutes, but come from 9th there to second. Yeah, what a job from the team in it, and Joe, and yeah, so happy, yeah.
The typical hillside track of Straßbessenbach in Germany. Natural terrain, very fast. The weather good again, another massive turnout. Due in some part to Tim Prummer's success, the Germans have got something to cheer for now, and they're going to cheer this weekend. Again, having a look round the scenery, and what a setting for this one. Second race then, up the hill. That's where they have to go. The charge up the hill. Now who's going to make it all the way to the top? You need the big punching engines up there. Did Tim Prummer get it off the line? Yes, he did. Tim Prummer was there in second place behind Marvin van Leeuwen, Nicolas Mousset. Etienne Bax was in third. Then it was Koen Hermans. Then it was Brett Wilkinson. The pace was getting faster and faster. Marco Heinze was caught up in a schmozzle at the first turn. But again, the fast-starting Tim Prummer on home ground here. The air horns were going for him, I can tell you. But through and relegating him to fourth place went Koen Hermans. Again, that long way round, could drive around the right-hand side and really make it work for him. Such a shame about his inconsistency. He would be right up there at the sharp end had he not had some DNFs. Brett Wilkinson, though, he and Joe Millard still maintaining their fast pace. We need Bax to get victory all the way if he was going to retain his title, but he was having some hot competition mixed up here on the back of the number 2. Marvin van Leeuwen now proudly displaying the red plate with Hermans. Look at them alongside Bax, sweeping round the outside. He and Cermak know they've got a job to do, and they knew it from the very start of the 2023 season when things went horribly wrong for them in Spain. This was a great weekend in Germany. Again, another very, very hot sunny day and a massive crowd. And a great track. One of the few natural tracks remaining, several in France, of course, but certainly in Germany, tracks few and far between. Hermans and van Leeuwen renewing their acquaintance. These guys both in the top 3. Hermans in third place, Bax in second in the title chase, but out in front, having led with the double in the first 2 rounds, Marvin van Leeuwen. Gert Gordieff and Tom van der Lagermaat side by side, heading up the hill, then upside down. Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey, the British crew upending it. Fresh from injury earlier in the season, they don't want to be doing that. They're really recovering all the way. As every round goes on, they were recovering from their back injuries. The 101 Lille Bardis boys, we saw them all the way through the season going quicker and quicker, and no exception here because they've got Wilkinson and Millard breathing down their necks. These boys then, so impressive. Bax and Cermak, are they cruising to race 2 victory here? You bet they were. In control every inch of the way in this race 2, having come home victors in the opening encounter, and they are now just heading home, fist in the air, jubilant. Andre Cermak knows they've done enough this time, and this is going to be overall victory in Germany for Etienne Bax, pulling back points on Marvin van Leeuwen because Koen Hermans was to finish second, with van Leeuwen a brace of thirds, giving him 3rd place overall. They're the runners-up in the overall position with a win and a 2nd place for Koen Hermans. But there you go, job done for Bax. Victory overall in Strasbourg and moving closer towards the top of the table. Uncontained joy.
Etienne, what a fine weekend. Your 100th GP win, overall victory, and the gap now closing.
Yeah, we came back to 18 points now, so yeah, you know, we need to keep up the good work and get some points every week. You know, we had a difficult start of the season, and it's important now to put things back to place and to be back in the race. But so far so good, we're happy and ready for the next one.
Bax, having celebrated his 100th race victory in Germany, brings that form to Northern Ireland, the first Grand Prix in Ireland for many, many years. The people are pleased to see us back. The local officials, the local council, everybody has got involved, even the Hinch Distillery. Well, you would, wouldn't you? What a great place. Green grass, fantastic. Just outside Lisbon is the track of Red Bray. This was where the defibrillator was invented. Let's hope we weren't to use it this weekend. And we didn't, as it happened. Conditions were great. The weather was not so good. It was wet, wet, wet. And if you think that's the name of a band, you're not wrong. Race 2 again on this very soggy track. It had rained pretty much all through qualifying on Saturday. And what did the teams make of it? Well, Etienne Bax made a good fist of it heading into the front. Some of the others not so good. It was very tight, but a well-prepared circuit, and the Irish organisers did a fantastic job. The Latvians were here in numbers to support the Lille Bardis boys. A tight track on a relatively small piece of ground, but the organisers and the teams made the most of it. It was close racing all the way through. Etienne Bax and Marvin van Leeuwen were head-to-head and had been going head-to-head throughout the championship, and it was no exception in Red Bray. You can see the nature of the terrain causing the outfits to slow down. Some of them can't really power around. The left-handed chairs appear to be something of a disadvantage here in Northern Ireland, which was somewhat a surprise, I think. Certainly to me. Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey, number 10, the Lille Bardis boys diving through on the inside. Their confidence had grown as the season unfolded. At the front, though, it was Etienne Bax and Marvin van Leeuwen. This battle now closing down, and van Leeuwen went through to reclaim that place. The gap, 19 points coming into this, so everything to play for, and still a lot of work to do for Bax. What he had to do, though, was keep in front. Well, Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey were out of it. Justin Kerben was still going strongly. He and Dion Rietman having got better and better and better. Fighting hard in Red Bray with Brett Wilkinson. Davy Sanders, Luke Rostang, one of the many crews to fall foul of the conditions, but soon away again and fighting hard. Obviously, they'd had a good season as well, running number 9 based on their performance last year, but they were looking to improve on that. This man was looking to improve on that, number 2. Although carrying the red plate, he was leading the championship in 2023 and determined to hold on to that advantage. One man who could stop him doing that trailed him home second after victory in the opening race. Etienne Bax, André Cermak could do no better in race 2 in Red Bray than second, and that would give them second overall, with Van Lukenen taking overall victory in Ireland. Hermans third in the race and third overall. He and Ben van den Bogart still very much in the hunt, but they need to up their game a little bit. As it happened, they tried very, very hard, but Van Lukenen, victory here, sealed it for him in Northern Ireland. Just what did that victory mean to Nicolas Mousset?
Every week is the goal is stay come back on the top of the box, the podium, and yeah, we did it this weekend. Was hard. Finally we come back on the best place, and yeah, and the second race was the start was not so bad. Second behind Etienne, and he make a mistake, and then we take the lead, and after that the lap time was I think we are a bit faster than him, and then yeah, we have a gap enough to not control, but not come back, and then yeah, was good race. Finally overall win, and yeah, the team is happy about this.
Well, that was it. Marvin Van Lukenen is still 18 points the gap now. Etienne Bax just nudged one closer, but a lot of work to do going into the rest of the season. Hermans, Wilkinson, Kerben, Leelbardis, Sanders. Sanders now up to 7th, 2 places better than 2022. Tim Prummett in the top 10. The rest of the guys, well, they all fight hard, don't they? The French brothers, there's a lot more to come from them. We go from here to Salisbury and Wiltshire. Can Dan Foden and Ryan Humphrey do something on home soil? I wonder. Salisbury Cathedral, what an epic and picturesque place. Home of one of the few surviving copies of the Magna Carta, and a spectacular place for tourists. Ourselves included. We had a good look round Salisbury, nearly got a parking ticket as well. The track, well, we'd never been there before. What was it like? Race 2 again in Cusses Course. A well-used track by the British Championship and solos, but International Sidecar's first time in Great Britain for 13 or 14 years. Not a good start for Gert van Verven, upended on the first turn. A good start for Prummett though. He and Justin Kerben got away really, really well. Koen Hermans' bike was smoking from the word go. That was not a good sign, and it was to prove terminal. Justin Kerben, Dion Rietman ahead of Prummett, and then the red plate of Marvin Van Lukenen. And then Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard with their left-hand chair right in the mix. Van Lukenen knew what he had to do here. He had to continue to pile on the coals and keep that advantage over Etienne Bax. 18 points the gap coming into Cusses Course. Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey getting fitter all the time after their injuries in France early in the season in a non-World Championship race at Torcy-en-Valais. It was a close track, lots of action, lots of contact, lots of opportunity, and the Leelbardis boys falling foul of that right-handed bend. Prummett on the outside. Now riding with Rodolphe Le Breton as Jano Stegmers was injured after Strasbessenbach. But Kerben, Dion Rietman riding well here, looking good. Upside down and over goes Brett Wilkinson. Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard maintained afterwards that it was a very close call between themselves and Marvin Van Lukenen, but you know, racing incident, these things happen in motocross. But in this one, charging on to a really, really good second race victory, Etienne Bax. Etienne Bax has done it again. Ian Van Lukenen, one race win apiece, but Bax gets the overall verdict. And that was what he took away from Cusses Course. As Jake Brown and Josh Chamberlain brought it home in third place, the Leelbardis twins had done enough to get their very first podium, and here in the UK at Cusses Course.
Daniel, first podium for you in the World Championship. A great ride, you're just getting quicker every round.
Yeah, the feelings are amazing. The speed was also super great. The first start was also super great. So yeah, we had the speed and we know we can get at the podium. Yeah. And the whole week was so great. The fans were so great. All the fans, we can feel them in the track. Also on the podium, it was super good.
When I spoke to you in Ireland, you said mud is not a problem for you. You're used to it in Latvia.
Yeah, in Latvia it's almost all the time in races the mud. Yeah, we liked really this track. It was great for us. I think it suited us. Yeah, but yeah, the feeling was great on the track. Also, yeah, we liked the rain and bit, and it was better for us, I think.
3 rounds to go, and it took us to the Czech Republic, Loket, on the river with a bend in it shaped like an elbow. Hence the name. That's what Loket means in the Czech Republic, and it was hot, I can tell you. In Loket it was the mid-30s. The temperature was incredible. There's that elbow. Good scenery. Great part of Central Europe to be in at this time of year, but the championship now was really coming down to boiling point. The second race in Loket was going to be a humdinger, more a race of attrition, a test of endurance, who would last the longer and who could keep going in these incredible temperatures. It was Van Luken and Nicolas Rousset who took the whole shot. Etienne Bax was very much in the hunt in second place. He and André Cermak still fighting, although they could see the championship slipping away because Van Luken had been so incredibly consistent. The Leeuwardis boys have been going strongly in qualifying, and indeed they had gone very well in the opening race as well. Justin Kerben had recorded a 3rd place in the opening race, but he was to suffer real problems in this race with his passenger becoming dehydrated, overheating and actually collapsing from the outfit. The conditions were so exhausting, many crews felt the attrition and the pain of the heat. Tim Prumer with Rodolphe Le Breton still going well with the Leeuwardis boys. Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard, despite having misfortune at a couple of the rounds, were still going so strongly and holding their championship position. Coming under pressure though from both Kerben and Leeuwardis, this was where they had to dig deep, and dig deep they did in Loket. In front of Kerben is where they had to be, and that is where they had to stay. Provided they could keep Kerben and Leeuwardis behind them, then their chances of a top 4 finish in the championship would be even greater than they were coming into this round. 2 more rounds there were after this one, Rudelsburg and Castelnau in the south of France, and it was all coming down to the wire. But Wilkinson and Millard knew that they were having their best season to date. Brilliant rides, and but for a couple of misfortunes, they would have been right in the top 3, and now this coming together with Leeuwardis pushed them wide into the loose stuff. The Leeuwardis boys went through on Wilkinson, but despite the fact Leeuwardis were to finish on the podium in the race, they did not beat Wilkinson to the podium in the overall because the British crew made 3rd. Van Luken took victory in race 2. Bax was in 2nd place, and Van Luken marched on to the title with 4 races remaining. The Leeuwardis boys strong again, but this was an unfortunate situation with Dion Rietman, Justin Kerben's passenger, who was hospitalised. But what about Brett and Joe? For you and Joe, an absolutely outstanding result this weekend in a very tough situation.
It was such a hot day. Normally we're one of the fitter ones in the heat, but today was really hard. Half distance, then you start to think, yeah, now I'm getting hot. But yeah, we had a really good day and come away a little bit of gap now with the 5th place. So hopefully we can hold on to this 4th till the end of the year.
Well, that they did. But Germany then, the penultimate round, which was the scene of the finale in 2022, Rudelsburg. It was muddy last year, it ain't muddy this year, and it certainly was not. Throughout the weekend, it was hot, dusty and hard again. Rudelsburg in Germany then, lovely scenery, lovely town. There's a brewery just down the road as well. We didn't find it actually, we were too busy working at the track, as we always are. So, race 2 of the penultimate round, Rudersberg. This is where the finale was last year, but it's a very different setting this time. Rain and mud last year. Wow, this is going to be so different. Getting the whole shot, Koen Hermans, he rode really well. The Prunier boys, 94, are getting stronger and stronger. They were in there. Kerben was in there. Etienne Bax was in 4th at this moment in time. Marvin van Lukenen, and round went Koen Hermans. Van Lukenen is out in front already with Etienne Bax chasing, and Koen Hermans from that moment on was looking backwards. Etienne Bax did not have the best of races here, as you will see, but Koen Hermans, Ben van den Berg not having given up. Also Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard, like to hear. There was Hermans stuck again, sideways once and now stopped again. That mysterious bug, the gremlin, that kills his engine and then somehow it just fires up again. Etienne Bax, Andre Chermak leading Van Lukenen. This is 1-2 in race 2 here in Rudersberg. Bax on his way then to defeating Van Lukenen in this race. Well, Van Lukenen went so strongly, second place. Hermans took the win. Bax was 3rd in race 1, so he's really got to pull all the stops out. Marco Heisler going well here. He's been absolutely flying all season, just getting quicker and quicker. But Bax now on his way to victory here in race 2 and the overall victory in the German Grand Prix of Rudersberg. Looking steady, cruising now, having shaken off the challenge from Van Lukenen. Can I call it cruising over the tabletop? Is there any such a thing as cruising over the tabletop? They know they've done it. This is the run into the flag, a wave to the crowd. Great ride by Etienne Bax, but I just suspect it might be all over for him with 2 more races to go, and Van Lukenen still with that commanding lead. And here he comes, second place for Marvin Van Lukenen and Nicolas Mousset. Just look how the track has polished out to hard pack. It's almost like tarmac in the middle. Shiny, polished finish. Well, on to France then. This is it. The penultimate race in the 2023. And we know the way it turned out, but let's have a look at the way it happened. Off they go then, away up this start-finish straight into a corner which has been heavily watered. Still dust kicking up though. Van Lukenen from Bax. And then it's Dan Foden and Ryan Humphrey getting a great start into 3rd place. Etienne Bax, Andre Chermak, what a performance they've given in the face of adversity this season. Marco Heisler, so quick again in qualifying, and almost a death-defying leap over the tabletop. Nearly got it wrong, but saved it in mid-air. How do you do that? I've no idea. I'm full of admiration. Heisler, Rudy Betchard will be conspicuous by their absence next year because there's a baby on the way. Meanwhile, no babies on the way for this lot, just lots of action. Left rink's there, Koen Hermans still scrapping in the middle. Oh, there's Bax. Bax is in trouble. Bax is in trouble. Something happened. Not allowed outside assistance. Something is bent there. Something collected a rock or something. Can he keep it going? Brett Wilkinson then with Justin Kerben. This is a battle very much for Brett to retain his 4th place in the title, and he nips through on the inside, but can he hold it? Can he get the power? He's on the wrong line now because the left-hander swings up. Still though, Marvin Van Lukenen really going strongly here. Van Lukenen and Heisler on a mission behind, I can tell you. But Lille Bardis boys going strongly as well, ahead of the Pruniers. This is the opening race in Castelnau-de-Lévis, and Van Lukenen, what more can I do? Come on, French crowd, give us the plaudits. That's exactly how it went for them. They were supreme in race 1 at Castelnau-de-Lévis, and really that was it. The championship was done. It was done in the opening race. They are, and they were, the 2023 FIM Sidecar Motocross World Champions. Brilliant sight. Top of the box as well, Etienne Bax. His face says everything, but what a fighter he has been.
What a way to finish the season. You two have done a great job. Congratulations to both of you. What a way though. What a day.
Yeah, what a weekend. You know, we win all 3 races, and yeah, for the French people, it's amazing to ride, and also this weekend again, and for sure the fight for the title, and we can win it like this. Yeah, it's amazing for the whole team.
Second title for Marvin, another title for you, Nico, in front of so many fans.
Yeah, it's my first time. Now it's my third title, but the first time in my country. It's really crazy to have this in France with this public.
You started the season as you finished it. Doubles, fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. But we fight always for the win. But yeah, for sure it's not so easy to win every race. But yeah, we try it every week, and I think yeah, we need to be proud of the whole team. So hard work, and yeah, they deserve it. Really hard, the title, and I'm so happy for everyone, also our sponsors, the whole team, everyone. Thank you very much.
Nico, how hard has this year been with the French Championship as well?
Yeah, the French Championship, and then about the GP. It's the first goal was the GP, so we do it, and yeah, we are really happy about this.
There it is then, confirmation. It was still close at the end. Etienne Beck's, what a valiant former champion he was indeed. Herman's Brett Wilkinson, a terrific season for the British crew. Lille Bardis boys, lots more to come from them on the box twice. What more can they expect? Brilliant. Heinz there going strongly. He'll be resting a bit next year, I suspect. But further down the order, Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey. There is loads more to come from them. And there's loads more to come from us, from me, Barry Nutley. Hope you've enjoyed this. Take it easy. We'll see you soon. Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Lukener certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.